We find ways to express relationships. If we have family or friends, there are kind of rules we live by to show that relationship. It can range, depending upon the relationship, from making sure we send birthday cards to ending a phone call with, "I love you." The same way is true in our relationship with God. We find ways to express that. We're dealing with God who is so far beyond us, and yet we have to deal with the here and now. How do we show in this life, in this world, that we're concerned about God, our relationship with Him? Moses gave his people the 10 Commandments. 3 of those commandments had especially to do with God, with honoring God only, with respecting God in all ways, and with taking one day a week to give to God especially. Then the other 7 rules were rules that were common around people of his own time. But he found them as good ways of expressing a relationship with God. So we have the 10 Commandments. And the people of Israel for many, many years, for hundreds, thousands of years, tried to live out those 10 Commandments in different ways. We as Catholics have ways of expressing our relationship with God. Celebrating the Eucharist, in which God is with us and we with Him, saying prayers, thinking about God. We used to have different kinds of rules too, remember? Fish on Friday. We stopped some of those rules. That rule was made to help us to know that we should sacrifice, we should give up some things to make up for the things we did wrong. But we discovered that half the world doesn't have meat once a week, no less giving it up on Friday. They never have it. And some people could say, well, I'll skip meat today, but I'll have lobster. So it wasn't, the rule was changed, but the reason for the rule is still there. That is, to express to God that we're sorry for our sins. Jesus said that there are 2 great rules: love God and love your neighbor. Now, he kept all the Jewish rules, or most of them. He didn't keep all of them. He kept the Jewish rules about visiting the temple, about the kind of prayer he was doing, and so on. Some of the rules, he said, no, they don't mean anything anymore. We also try to follow the 2 rules that Jesus gave, which are the basis of everything. Love God above all things. Love your neighbor as yourself. Everything else we try to do, everything else that Jesus taught us, comes from that. And in the first quotation that we saw today, St. James talks about what true religion is. He said true religion is care for orphans and widows in their affliction and to keep oneself unstained from the world. That's the why we have rules. That's why the Church tries to give us rules. We try to live by them, to help those who are in need in whatever way they help us, where they need help, rather, and also for ourselves to keep ourselves untainted by the bad things in the world. Think about it.